Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and welcome to the Xadmin channel. So guys, in this lecture we are going to see how to secure your REST API using a basic authentication and authorization. So guys, as we know that the security to the API is the key component of any application. So guys, in this lecture we are going to develop a API and then we'll implement a Spring security to the REST API using a Spring Boot and a Spring security. So guys, let's start the session. And guys, the first of all I will create a Spring Boot application or a project, and then guys I will activate the Spring security, and then I will show you how to write a code for the basic authentication and authorization. All right, so let's create a application, the Spring Boot application. So guys, for that I will use the Spring Initializer. So I am going to keep the main project and the 2.31 version as a snapshot. And now let's add a group com.xadmin.security. all right, and artifact name as a basic security. all right, and package I am using jar and the Java 8 version. all right, let's add dependencies. Spring Wave I will add Spring security dependencies, and also I will add a dev tool, Spring dev tool. all right, so guys, I have added a Spring Wave, Spring security and Spring Boot dev tool. So let's generate this project. So let's save this in a zip format. Let's open. So let's unzip this, extract it here. And now guys, I'm going to import to our Eclipse. So directory, then directly I will go to the project where I have saved the basic security project, and now finish it. So guys, I have successfully added the Spring security project to our Eclipse. And guys, we have the folder like the Java folder and the resource folder. Inside the resource folder we have a application or properties file, and inside the Java folder we have a class with a basic security application class in which we have a main method. And guys, inside this class it is going to start the Spring Boot. all right, so guys, now guys, I will activate the Spring security by adding annotation like web. all right, so let's add the annotation. Annotation is like enable web security. all right, so let's import this. I think I have a spelling mistake. Security. okay, so let's import this. And guys, after importing the enable web security annotation, I have activated Spring security to the Spring Boot project. all right, and now guys, I will show you the next step to activate a basic authentication. all right, so guys, I have activated the Spring security by adding enable web security annotation. And now guys, the next step, I am going to create a controller. So let's create a package first, and let's keep the name as a controller. all right, so let's finish this. And now let's create a Java class and add a controller. So guys, I'm going to give the name of this controller as application controller. Finish this. So guys, we have added a Java class, and now guys, I'm going to make this controller as a REST controller by adding a REST controller annotation. So let's import this. REST controller, I think spelling is right. Yeah, import REST controller. And guys, I have created a REST controller with the name application controller, and guys, now I will add a request mapping annotation for the handling the URL. Okay, request mapping, and I will provide the URL like the REST and auth. All right, so let's import the request mapping. And guys, inside this controller I will create a method. So public and return type I will keep as a string, and name of the method is welcome. All right, so guys, here we have to return some string, so let's pass a string. Hey, welcome, you pass the string security. All right, yeah, so guys, I have added a string, and guys, it will return when this method will be invoked. And now guys, I'm going to add a get mapping annotation for this method, and here I will pass a URL as the welcome. All right, so let's import this. Sorry, we have to import the get mapping. So guys, here spelling mistake, get mapping. Let's import this. And now guys, you can see that I have created a REST controller with the name application controller, and I have mapped the URL with the request mapping, and the URL path is like REST auth, and guys, with the welcome. And guys, if it get a request with this REST auth welcome, then guys, it is going to call the welcome method, and it will return this string, hey welcome, you pass the string security. All right, so guys, till here I have done. Now guys, the next step is like I will assign the username and the password to our application properties file. So let's add a username and the password to the application properties file. So spring security dot user dot name equals to, so I will keep the username as xadmin. All right, and now I will assign a password. So user dot password, and password I'm going to keep as a password. All right, so guys, my username is xadmin and the password is password. And let's save all the file which you have created. So guys, till now guys, I have added annotation enable web security to our basic security application to activate a spring security. All right, and guys, I have created a controller, a REST controller, in which we have a request mapping of REST auth. All right, and I have a method with the welcome, and guys, if the request is getting with the URL REST auth and the welcome, now guys, it is going to call the welcome method, and guys, it will return this string. Okay, and I have assigned the username and the password to this our application.properties file. And now guys, I will start the server, and guys, as I will hit this okay, and guys, as the request is hit with this URL, then guys, it is going to pop up like a login page in which we have to enter the username and the password. And guys, the username and the password will be matched with the application.properties file username and the password. And guys, if this is passed, then guys, it is going to return this string to the our browser. All right, so let us start this as a Java application. So guys, our application has been started on the port number 8080. So let's go to the browser and hit the request, and guys, let's see that whether we are getting a login page or not, a spring security login page or not. So local, and we have the path as a REST auth and a welcome. All right, so let's hit a request. So guys, it is not working because it passed and it directly shows us the welcome, you passed the spring security. So guys, let's check that what mistake I am doing. REST controller request mapping is fine. this is fine. Inside I have enable, we have application properties. All right, let's do one thing. Let's close the browser and let's hit the request again. So now let's hit the request again. So guys, we got the username and the password. All right, so now guys, you can see that we got the username and okay, and now guys we have to enter the username and the password. So let's add. So guys, we have the username as xadmin and the password is password. All right, so let's hit a sign in button. So guys, you can see that as I hit the sign in button, it passes the security because it matches the username and the password which we entered to our login page with the application properties file username and the password. And guys, if this is same, then guys it passes and it returns the string, and guys it shows the string as hey welcome, you passed the Spring security. All right, so guys, here guys I have shown you how to activate a basic authentication and the authorization by using a default. Okay, and now guys, here guys, it is a problem in this approach is like guys, if you are implementing this approach for a test purpose, then it is fine. But let's say that if you are building any web application, then it is not a good approach to hard code the username and the password in an application properties file. All right, so guys all right, so guys, let's say that you want to apply Spring security to the specific URL or to a specific method, then guys with this it is like a not possible. And guys, if you want to apply a Spring security to like a role base, then guys let's say that you want to allow or access like guys you want to allow to access to the some URL for a specific user, let's say for a admin user only, then it is not possible to implement this with a default approach. So now guys, I will show you how to implement a customized approach in which I will show you how to implement a Spring security with a role based also and also with the URL based. All right, so guys, for that I have to create a customized class in which I will override a configure method, and then I will show you how to implement a Spring security with a role based also and with a URL based also. So let's create a package first. Select this, Control N. So let's do next, and I'm going to name this package as a config. All right, so now guys I will create, so guys, first of all I'm going to comment this application properties username and the password. All right, because guys we are not going to use the application or properties file for the authentication of the username and the password. So guys, inside the package let's create a class. So now guys, I am going to create a Java class with the name Spring security config. So guys, our Java class name is a Spring security config class. All right, so guys, I have created a class, and now guys what I will do, I will simply extend this class. Okay, I will simply extend this class with a web security configure adapter. So let's extend this. All right, with the web security configure adapter class. And guys, as guys this is a configuration file, so I have to assign this with the annotation configuration. All right, so let's import this. And guys, I have extended this class, our custom class, with a web security configure adapter class. And guys, it has a couple of the overriding method. So guys, like the override method, like guys we have to configure, so guys we have to override the configure method of the web security configure adapter class. And guys, it have the like the parameter of the authentication manager builder. So let's override this method is like config, and guys it has a parameter as a authentication manager builder. All right, So guys, we have overridden this, so remove the extra automated stuffed added things. All right, and now guys, inside this method I'm going to, so guys, here I am going to add a username and a password and also a role. For that, let use a auth object, and guys, I'm going to call a method like a method like in-memory authentication method, because guys, I will use in-memory authentication method because I will set a username and the password and assign role. Okay, and guys, I will show you with the like a database in the next lecture, and how to authenticate with the username and the password with the database. So guys, now I'm going to assign the username and the password in our configuration class only, so that's why I am using a in-memory authentication method for now. All right, so let's call a method with user to assign the user. So I'm going to keep the username as xadmin. All right, and the next I have to assign a password, so let's call a password method, and here let's assign a password as xadmin only. All right, and now let's assign a role by calling a role method, and here I am assigning a admin. All right, so guys, here you can see that I have called a method in memory authentication in which I have assigned a user with the name xadmin and the password with the name xadmin, and the role I have assigned as an admin. All right, and now guys, we have to override the one more method with the name the configure itself, but guys, it has like the argument will be like the HttpSecurity. So let's override another configure method with the like parameter HttpSecurity. All right, so let's remove this automated things, and now guys, I am going to disable the CSRF token for now. And guys, if you will ask me the what is the CSRF token, so guys, actually the CSRF token is a unique and a secret unpredictable value created by the server side application and transmitted to the client for the subsequent HTTP request made by the client application. So guys, actually the server side application validate the CSRF token in a subsequent request and reject the request if the token is missing or invalid. All right, so guys, CSRF token are strong and unpredictable and generated, and like it is generated as a session token with some properties, and the attacker cannot determine or predict the value of the CSRF. All right, so now guys, for this application, for now I am going to deactivate the CSRF token. So guys, how we can deactivate the CSRF token in a Spring Boot? So guys, we can do this by just adding the http.csrf method, and then we will call a disable method. All right, so we have a disable method, and guys, by this line we have deactivated the CSRF token. All right, and now guys, the next step I am going to mention the way to apply the Spring Security. So guys, actually I want to apply the Spring Security for the all methods. Actually I want to apply a Spring Security for the all methods, all the OR URL in this application. So guys, how I can do this? By calling http dot, and here the authorization, and guys, we have to call the authorize request method, and then guys, I will call a method like any request. So guys, you can see that we have a method with the any request. All right, and then guys, fully authenticated. All right, fully authenticated, and then I want to add one more thing like and guys, http basic. All right, so guys, by writing this line, I have set the Spring Security to fully authenticate to any request which he will receive, and then guys, it will do a HTTP basic authentication. All right, so guys, here I have implemented this method to check a Spring Security for the any request which will come to this application. All right, and now guys, after that I will show you like how to do a Spring Security for a role base also, and also for a particular URL. So now guys, this is for the any request it will come. All right, so guys, till here I have added, and now guys the next okay, and now guys the next method I have to add. And guys, here guys, we are working with a Spring Boot 2.0, so it is like expecting the password in an encrypted format. So guys, we can use a class or a method to encrypt the password, but guys here we will so guys, here we are not using any role based authentication for now. So guys, to ignore this, I will just add a deprecated class and a method so that it will not accept an encrypted format. So let's add a method. So guys, so let's add a method first. Public static no op and the password encoder. All right, encoder is a return type. So guys, here you can see that we have, and guys now the method name I'm going to add as a password encoder. All right, so I have added this method. All right, so let's import this with the package, and the package is like the org spring framework security.cypto password. All right, and now guys, we have to return. So let's return. Let's copy this from here, paste it here. All right, and we have to call the get instance method to get the instance of this. It is showing an error, so we have to typecast this or add cast to no op password encoder, and let's add @bean to this method. All right, so let's import this annotation, and guys, I have added this method so that it is in, so guys, it is not accepting an encrypted format password. All right, so guys, I have simply added the two methods, like the configure method and a configure method with HttpSecurity parameter. And guys, in the first method I have added the xadmin, the username and the password, and I have assigned a role. And guys, in the second method of the overridden method, like the configure method, in this guys, I have disabled the CSRF, and secondly I have written a code for authorization of the any request it will get. And okay, so let's save. Okay, and already I have commented the application properties, so let's run this project as a Java application, and let's say that we are getting a login page or not. Okay, we are getting, already it is running. So let us stop, terminated, let's start it again. So guys, we can see that we have started our application. So for now, let's check the URL application controller. We have the same, okay, the request URL. So let's go to the, and let's close it again, otherwise it will provide a problem with the cookies. So open the browser again, and let's hit the URL with the welcome, rest auth welcome. And guys, you can see that we got a pop-up for the login, in which we have to put a username. So our username was xadmin, and the password was also a xadmin. So let's check the password. In our configuration file, we have xadmin and the password xadmin. All right, so let's hit a sign in button, and guys, you can see that it passes the security, and guys, it return the hey welcome, you passed the Spring Security. And guys, in this guys, you can see that I have implemented for the any request. All right, and now guys, we are going to see the another example in which I will show you how to implement for any URL, for like for any particular URL. Okay, so guys, let's say that we have a bunch of controllers, and guys, I want to implement a Spring Security to a particular controller, not for the all controllers. So guys, how I can implement a Spring Security for a particular controller or a particular URL? All right, so guys, let's implement this. So guys, let's do one thing. Let create one more controller. All right, so inside the controller package, I'm going to create one more Java class, and now I'm going to keep this the name of the Java class as no auth controller. All right, let's finish this. So let's make this as a REST controller. Let's assign a request mapping for this controller. So guys, now I am going to keep the request mapping URL as different with the previous with the no auth, and let's put this as a REST after this. Okay, let's import the request mapping. So let's create a method. Public string, let's say hi method. All right, so let's return hi string. Now let's say this is no auth controller. All right, so this is the string I will pass if this URL will be hitted. All right, let's add a get mapping. So let's provide the URL as say hi. All right, so let's save this. So guys, I have added one more controller with the name the no auth controller, and we have a request mapping with the no auth, REST, and say hi. So guys, as the request we got, so guys, this method will be called. All right, and now guys, the next step what I will implement, guys, now guys, I will implement for a particular URL. It means that guys, I am going to implement a Spring Security for this controller itself. Okay, so now guys, I am going to implement a Spring Security for the application controller. Okay, and guys, no, not for the like a no auth controller. All right, so here we have a URL starting with the REST. All right, so let's go to our Spring Security configure file, and now guys, I will change the code, and here I will add a method like a configure method to show you how you can add a Spring Security for a particular URL itself. So first of all, let's copy this method and let's comment this method, and guys, and after this I'm going to paste this method, and guys, only I have to change the things. Guys, here you can see that we are getting any request method. Okay, so guys, I will call ant matcher method. All right, and here I will select a string parameter as a ant parameter, and here I will pass a URL pattern so that it will match the URL pattern, and guys, it is going to add a Spring Security to this particular path URL. Okay, let's remove this extra code. So guys, if you can see, I will show you. Yeah, so guys, I have added ant matcher method, and guys, I have passed the pattern URL pattern as a REST and star. It means that the okay, it means the request with the URL starting with the REST, and anything it is going to check the Spring Security. Okay, it is going to check the it is going to check the Spring Security. Otherwise, if the pattern is like other than the rest, then guys it is not going to add the Spring Security, it will pass itself. All right, so I have added the add matcher to the rest. So guys, okay, and guys you can see that we have a true controller, and guys application controller has a rest URL is starting, and here I am passing a the string as hey welcome, you pass the Spring Security. And we have another controller in which you can see that we have a URL with a starting with a no auth. So guys, it means that if the no auth is like the URL is called, then guys it will pass. Okay, and guys if the rest auth is requested, then guys it will add a Spring Security, and guys it is going to check, and guys we have to pass the username and the password. All right, so this is the basic funda. So now let's stop the server. So let's save the, now let again start our application, run as Java application. Okay, now let's do one thing, let's close our browser, otherwise it will show a cookie error. So let us start browser again, and let's hit the URL. So guys, as you can see that auth welcome. So guys, okay, and guys here you can see that as I request a URL with the starting with the rest, it shows us the login page, and here the Spring Security is added. And now guys I have to pass the username and the password xadmin, and the password is xadmin, and then I have to sign in. Okay, and guys you can see that it returned the URL, it means it passed the Spring Security. And now guys I have the another URL, and the URL is of the no auth controller, so no auth rest. So let me add and say hi. So let's do one thing, let's close the browser again, let us start the browser. So let's hit a local, and guys here I have to change the URL to call our no auth controller, and in the last we have a say hi URL. Okay, so let's enter the request. So guys, as we enter the request, so guys you can see that it has not asked for entering the username and the password, it directly passes. So guys here you can see that by this guys we have implemented a Spring Security for a particular URL pattern type. So guys we have implemented this in our Spring Security configuration custom file. We have added this line by calling a ant manager, and guys here I have passed the particular URL pattern to add a Spring Security to a particular URL of your API. All right, and now guys I am going to next implement a method in which I will show you how to add a Spring Security for a role based applications like for admin or for user. All right, so for that guys let me first stop the server, and now guys let me add one more like the username and the password for the user. Okay, so let's add another, let's copy this, paste it here. So guys in memory authentication I will use, and with the user, so let's change the name of the user as a user as a Ashish, and the password I am going to keep as a Bhagat, and the role I am going to provide this as a user. All right, so all right, and now guys you can see that we have two roles. First is admin and the second is user, and the user has a username with the Ashish and the password as a Bhagat, and the admin user has a username as a xadmin and the password is also a xadmin. All right, so now guys in the same way I will copy this method so that I can paste. So now I will comment this method. Okay, and now I will paste it here, and now guys I will change the code, and I will show you how we can add a Spring Security according to the role base. All right, so guys for that I have disabled the like the CSRF, and now guys here the ant matcher is all right. So let's add has after the ant matcher, I will check like the has any role. So I will check the role of, so has any role, and here I will pass the admin. All right. Okay, and after that guys, I am going to call the any request, and after that the full authentication method. All right. So guys, this is the code we have to change to add a Spring Security for a role based. So guys, here you can see that I have added like a ant matcher. After that I have added a has any role, and here I have provided a admin. Okay, and then I have called any request method, and with that I have called a fully authenticated, and then after HTTP basic. All right. So now guys, let's save this. So let us start this application again, run as a Java application. So I have started this, and now guys, let's close the browser and hit again. All right. So let's hit it again, and now I will show a REST auth welcome. And guys, here the username is like, let's say that if the username is like xadmin and xadmin. All right. So it shows us the welcome, you pass the Spring Security. So now again, let's close this, and let's again open our Chrome, and let's hit the request. And here now guys, I am going to pass the URL. Let me check the username. So guys, you can see that the ASIS is the username and the password, and guys, it is for the user. Okay, and guys, you can see that inside the method I have assigned for the admin. So guys, let's add the user's username and the password, and let's see what this will do. So let's add Ashish username and the password as a Bhagat, and let's hit the sign in. And guys, you can see that it is saying that it is the type of the error we are getting as a forbidden. It means that guys, it is not allowed to access the API if the user is not admin, because guys, we have assigned a role to access this API only for the admin. Okay, and guys, if the user is like other than admin, then guys, it is showing us the forbidden. It means guys, it is not allowing us to access this API if the user is other than admin. All right. So all right, and guys, in this example I have shown you how to add a Spring Security to the Spring Boot for the any request by calling a any request method. And guys, after that I have shown you how to add a Spring Security for any the URL pattern by calling a ant matcher method. And guys, inside this I have passed the URL pattern. And guys, after that I have shown you how to add a Spring Security for a user base or for a role base. So guys, if the user is admin, then only guys it is allowed to access the API. Otherwise, if the user is like other than admin, then guys, it is not allowed to access the API. So guys, this is all about a Spring Security. So guys, I hope you understand this lecture, how to add a Spring Security by using a basic authentication and authorization. All right. And guys, in this I have shown you the username and the password inside our custom configuration file. So guys, in the next lecture, okay, so guys, in the next lecture I will show you how to apply a role-based security using the database by connecting the database. So guys, we'll use a Spring Boot and a Spring JPA and validate the username and the password based on role. Okay, So guys, thank you and have a nice day. See you in the next lecture.